Good morning, Reptilians. Welcome and welcome back to the channel. I'm Elle, and this is Elle's Reptiles. This week, we are doing a video that was actually inspired by this girl. Actually, you can't see her, I don't think. By her and her glass surfing, which she was doing a lot of the other day. This video is all about glass surfing and why your bearded dragon may be glass surfing and what you can do about that. Before we get started, this video is sponsored by our Gecko, so make sure to stay until the end of the video to find out all about this awesome company. Let's get started. First off, let's just talk very quickly about what is glass surfing. I'm assuming you already know. If you're here, there's always chapters down here you can skip around, but glass surfing is basically just them pacing back and forth. It may be up against the glass. So if you have a PVC tank, the glass surfing could just look like running and scratching against the PVC. It doesn't necessarily have to be against glass. It could be against the acrylic front doors, but it's just them running, pacing, scratching, and it's just like this overall look and feel of just a restlessness, and it can be caused by many things. So let's talk about that. First thing, they may just be hungry. A lot of bearded dragons will actually do this at around the same time every day, and that's because that's probably the time that you give them their salad or their bugs or whatever every day. If they get hungry and you are taking a little too long, they may do this. Obviously, the solution to this one's very easy: feed them. This one is basically the best case scenario of what is happening to your bearded dragon, but it is something that happens pretty often, enough that I wanted to include it in the video. So super simple. If you have fed them and they are still doing it and you suspect that they may still be hungry, just give them more salad. The next one, your temperatures may not be correct, especially if your temperatures are too hot. This can cause them to glass surf because essentially they're trying to get out. Make sure that when you are checking your temperature, number one, make sure those temperatures are correct in that tank. But number two, make sure that you are not only checking the ambient temperature, which is what is going to be assessed by a thermostat on the wall in that enclosure. Make sure you're also checking basking temperatures. If ambient temperatures get too high, it can get dangerously hot for your bearded dragon. If the basking spot is way too hot, they can't properly bask because it's too hot. So that means they can't properly digest their food, and that's going to make them panic and glass surf. Make sure you are using both wall thermometers and a temperature gun, a laser temperature gun, to measure all of the temperatures in that tank. Obviously, if one corner of your tank is a little bit colder than it's supposed to be, but the rest is fine, that's okay. I'm mostly talking about dangerously hot temperatures that are gonna make them do this. Usually if your tank is too cold, they're just kind of gonna go to sleep and just be very lazy and lethargic. Even it might push them into like a brumation. Too hot temperatures is usually what the glass surfing is going to mean. Next up, and this is a huge one for Zaz specifically, check to see if they have pooped in that tank. A lot of your dragons, again, especially Zaz, do not like to poop in their tanks. Zaz generally prefers to go in the sink, so if she has to use the bathroom, she will start pacing like crazy. She will glass surf like crazy until I get her out. If I happen to miss that, if I'm not in this room when that is happening and she does use the bathroom in her tank, she will glass surf until I clean that tank out. Bearded dragon poop does not... It smells really bad and it's really gross, and a lot of them don't want to be trapped in that tank with that smell, with that grossness. I mean, just imagine if you're trapped in a room with that out in the open. It's not going to be a fun time. Other than them being hungry, checking the feeding times, one of the first things that you should be checking is to see if there is any wastes in that tank, and that could be the culprit. Most of the time it is for her. Also, another helpful hint with that, if you look in there and your bearded dragon is looking beautiful, like they're pale and their colors are bright and vibrant and they're glass surfing, they probably just went to the bathroom in that tank. They may glass surf if they can see their own reflections or if they can see anything happening outside of the tank. So if, I don't know, if there is a bug on the outside of the tank, sometimes in the summertime, especially when flies happen, she'll see a fly and she'll start to go crazy. If a cricket gets loose in this room and it goes by her tank, she goes crazy. So if there's any kind of like little bug movements, or maybe they can see the container that you're keeping bugs in, anything like that, make sure they can't see those things, because if they're hungry, they're gonna go crazy to try to get those bugs. Or if they can see the reflection. This doesn't always happen, but if that is the issue, if you've noticed that your bearded dragon can see the reflection in the glass or whatever, you can always put in like aquarium backgrounds or just use black poster board, stick that in there, and it's gonna fix the reflection problem. If they are looking at something outside, maybe they can see another bearded dragon or another lizard, you can put poster board on the outside or a tank background on the outside just to prevent them from looking out. I always suggest poster board just because it's so cheap. You can go and get it at the Dollar Tree. I've seen people use sheets before, just kind of pin sheets up. Whatever it is that you can do. One person in our reacting to subscribers tank drew art to go all around it. That was a really cool idea. I've never seen anyone do that before. Just block off so they can't see whatever their issue is. And the last one, we're not going to go into too much depth about. I have a whole video about it here. The last one is they may be sick, especially if they have parasites or if you have a female that needs to lay eggs and she doesn't have anywhere to lay. These things can cause them to glass surf. With parasites, when we first got Zaz, she had lots and lots of parasites and she would pace and glass surf nonstop. And then later, because of the issue with parasites and her being given the incorrect medication that didn't get rid of parasites, super long story, with the issues with that, she ended up becoming egg bound, where she would pace and pace and pace and pace. So those two are two really big things. If you have a female adult bearded dragon, make sure that they have somewhere to lay eggs if they need it. This is why bioactive tanks, or even just tanks where you have incorporated a permanent digging area, are so helpful, because you just don't have to worry about them not having a place to lay eggs, and they just will use it when they need it. But that is a huge con with female bearded dragons, is the fact that they can produce eggs even if they've never even seen a male in their life, and they can become egg bound if they are not given the proper amenities to lay those eggs. And parasites, bearded dragons are prone to parasites, especially if you're feeding them things like crickets, or if you're getting food from unsanitary places like bait shops as opposed to healthy feeders, or even if like their temperatures and stuff aren't correct, that can cause parasites. They're very, very prone to getting parasites. So if there are other signs happening and they're glass surfing, that might be something that you should look into. Again, I have a whole video going into detail about different illnesses of bearded dragons somewhere around here. As always, if you are worried about your bearded dragon, please, please, please take them to the vet to be checked out by a professional. That is it. That is all I have for this week. I feel like this video is going to be pretty short. I feel like garbage today. I had to go and get this procedure done to try to fix my balance issues that I've been having still, and it has not been fun. Let me know in the comments below any reasons that you can think of that bearded dragons might be glass surfing, because those comments definitely help other people out. As I said at the beginning of this video is sponsored by iHeartGeckos. iHeartGeckos is an awesome company that makes conversion kits for tanks. So they basically allow you to take any glass tank that you may have laying around and turn it into a front opening tank for so many different animals. They have all different sizes. There's so many different things you can do with this. They're super awesome for things like tarantulas and like scorpions and frogs and so many different types of geckos. They are great, and there's so many different things that you can do with them. Make sure if you do happen to order from iHeartGeckos.com, you leave Elle's Reptiles in the How Did You Hear About Us box. That way they know that you guys are coming from here. Thank you so much to iHeartGeckos for continuing to sponsor these videos. As always, if you're not already, please feel free to follow me on my socials, like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications every single time I put out a video, which is every Sunday, which is some Sundays and some Wednesdays. This week's Instagram shout out is here, and this week's shout out is here. Thank you so much for liking, following, subscribing, and commenting, and sharing, and all that jazz. You are the bee's knees. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye. Hopefully you can't hear children in the background. The door's not closed, so I need to be able to hear them if anything crazy happens, so hopefully you can't hear them. They get a little loud. This week we are doing...
Go over it. Like this.
Hey, when you're in the living room, let's try not to scream, okay?
No, that was Jace.
That was you.
No, that was Jace outside. It's just because he was saying FBI. I mean, he was saying it's the place.
Okay.
So that wasn't me.
Okay, well then, I'm just letting you know then, okay? Just for future reference.
So it wasn't me.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, wait.
Should have had Zaz out for this whole video. Just wanna. Okay.